Alright, so we're going to start by gathering all of our supplies. We're going to need a needle already threaded, prepped, ready to go with a knot on the end. If you don't know how to do that, I have a linked video to show you. You're going to need scissors, printer paper or construction paper to make your template, a fabric marking tool, safety pins, and then a regular pen as well. And then you'll need fabric. I recommend just using regular quilting cotton. You're going to need a piece for the backing and then a piece for the applique shape itself. You don't need a ton of fabric, really. Something like 8 by 8 will do, or smaller depending on how big you want your applique piece to be. Once you have everything ready to go, we can get started. So we're going to make our template piece first. Appliqué relies on templates, so it's good to get used to that off the start. We're going to just do the most basic shape, which is a square or a rectangle. Circles are also pretty basic, but I do find some people have a hard time keeping that curve smooth. So we'll start with a really simple shape, and then I have other videos linked if you want to learn the little bit more complicated techniques. So you can grab a ruler or a straight edge and your pen and just make your shape. It doesn't need to be massive, but I would recommend not doing it super small. So I would say bigger than 3 by 3. Smaller pieces are just a little bit more difficult to sew. So I would not recommend that for your first one. Now we can cut out our shape just right on the line that you drew. Now we'll grab our fabric. You're going to have your backing piece, whichever color you choose, and then the applique piece. So we're going to use that and put our template right on top, and then trace right on the lines all the way around. Now we can cut this out, and you're going to cut about a 1/4 inch away from the line you just drew to make our seam allowance. Now we'll take our backing fabric, put this fabric on top, and pin it in place with safety pins. You can use normal sewing pins as well, but I normally just use safety pins because I find I prick myself quite a bit with the exposed pin on the piece. So that's just kind of a personal preference. Want to make sure everything's very flat when you pin it down. If you notice that there's some bunching in any areas, I would take the pins out, adjust again, because that's where it's going to be sewn in place, so we don't want it to be all wonky. Once you have it pinned in place, then we can start the sewing. I brought you a little closer just so you could see better. We have our needle with thread, again already prepped, so it's already knotted, ready to go. And I am using a cream thread just so you could kind of see it a little bit better, but I do recommend for an actual piece using a thread that is similar color to the backing, or even at the very least your applique piece. So we're going to bring our needle up from the bottom in between the base, in between the backing and the applique piece, straight up through the line that you drew. And we can kind of tuck that thread tail underneath. And then we're going to fold our seam allowance under. And then we're going to stick our needle through the backing, right below where that other thread came through, and then up through the backing and the applique piece about a 1/4 inch away. And pull straight. You want to get just a little bit of the applique piece because if you go too far in, you're really going to see those stitches a lot. So we're going to keep working that exact same way, going down exactly underneath where that thread came out, and then bring it up through over here. And then just keep sewing down the line until you reach the corner. Now that we've reached the corner over here, you're going to stop right at the line that you drew, so that'll be your last stitch. I'm going to turn it, tuck this corner under, and usually when I'm tucking it, I will kind of pull lightly on this thread. You don't want to pull too tight or else it'll bunch everything here, but pulling it tight enough will get that point to be nice and sharp. And then once you have it all tucked under like that, I usually go back down right at the corner, back up, and keep going exactly how you did on this side all the way around until you meet that very first stitch that you made over here. Alright, so now that we've made it all the way back around, my first stitch was right here. This is kind of where my finishing stitch is. And then we're going to take our needle and just grab a small bit of that backing fabric like that. Make a loop. Put it through twice. And then I normally hold it right here as I pull the thread just to make it taut. So you have a nice little knot there. And then I will put my needle back. And then snip the thread. And you're all done. If you want to learn those other techniques again, I'll have them linked below in the blog post. And let me know if you guys have any questions.